Are your Facebook ads falling flat? Whether you're spending $10 or $10,000 a month right now, if you're not using the right strategies, you're leaving money on the table. Now, I've helped hundreds of clothing brands scale their ads to look like this, this, and this. And today I'm gonna share you the exact strategies and the exact steps so that you can crush it for your brand as well in 2025 and beyond, whenever you're watching. All right, so before we dive in though, let me tell you about Emma, not really her real name, and Sally. So Emma and Sally are best friends and they both own this boutique together, kind of co-founders. They barely have a clue about what to do with Facebook ads. Honestly, they had no clue what to do at all with their brand. They just knew that they loved clothes. Maybe that's you. You're like, hey, look, I'm just now watching this video because I need to figure out Facebook ads. I have a great brand and I have driven content organically, but now my Instagram isn't really driving as much traffic, so I got to figure out how to buy traffic, and that's what I'm doing here on Facebook ads. Well, a couple of tweaks, and we're going to talk about that throughout this video, but really, they went from doing $5,000 months to $25,000 months really within 90 days. And then this is a time period, as you can see here, from November 28th through December 2nd, where they did $33,000. Now, we've obviously scaled up. We're doing $9,000 in spend for that time period, but it was not always like that. They were literally starting out just like you. I remember building this campaign with them, talking through strategy, and they're one of our, let's say, second year in program members, but they literally started out at $30 a day and have scaled it up since then. And now, like I said, I think they're spending about $2,000-ish per day. This video will show you the exact playbook I used to make this happen. I say they did it, we talked through it, right? So I don't want to take all the credit here, I'll be very honest. So grab something to take notes with, let's get rolling so that we can talk about it. Now, number one, nail your target audience. Your ads are only as good as the people seeing them, okay? So I'm gonna use this board to write this out to make this a little bit more of a visual for you. Number one, almost with anything, is your audience. You have to find your perfect audience online, and honestly, as soon as you are able to find your audience, everything becomes easier. And I'll tell you right now that most people don't obsess enough over figuring out their audience. Every single time we go through this, and I promise this will all make sense to running ads, but if you're looking for somebody to just build the ads, you can go to the end of this video. I'm gonna do that, but you miss the whole point about what actually makes it work. So the problem with the internet, or the problem with YouTube, is that people tell you all of these things, and then they show you what they did, but they didn't actually tell you how. Right? The how is right here. Building something out, the ads manager part, that's 30% of it. The 70% ahead of time is all the things I'm gonna tell you right here. So if you skip this part of the video and just go to the end of it, you can, but you're gonna be missing out what actually makes this successful. So we go through, there's basically a 3-pillar approach here to figuring out who your actual audience is. You have to define who is your audience and what problem are they solving. Okay, so this is a brand, it's from George Janko, and underneath it, I'll shout out to this brand too. Definitely shout out him, he's a program member of ours. But the problems that they are solving are different for each brand, right? You have to figure out who it is that you're trying to solve a problem for. And so we go through this document and it just tells you a little bit. Here's the introduction whenever we were building it out. But as you go through here, there's 3 kind of pillars that go on. The first one is the problem. So you have a problem, then you have a solution. You're like, wait, I have a clothing brand. What does that have to do with the problem? Well, if somebody doesn't have a true desire and doesn't understand the problem that you are helping them solve, it's very difficult to sell something, right? So what is the problem? You're the solution. And then you have, I'm gonna do an acronym here, it's called the Future Pace Hero. Basically, what is like afterwards, okay? An easier example of this than even with clothing. So let's just say there's a problem here with a guy who's in his 20s and he's losing all of his hair. And then you throw in solution like Hims. If you've never heard of Hims, just roll with me here. But you have Hims, and then what is life like afterwards? It's saying I got thicker, happier hair. But what's the desire behind that? The desire is to be more confident. The desire is to feel good, etc. The same thing happens with clothes. The problem is somebody may say, hey, I'm from New York, and I want something to represent the greatest city in the world. Don't come at me, Chicagoans or LA people, but like Ghosty, it's a brand out of New York, and so it is representing kind of an eclectic type of culture within New York, and so it's solving a problem, a need in the marketplace for it. They offer the solution, and as a Future Pace Hero, kind of answers a couple of bigger problems that I have that I feel better about, right? So I like it because I like New York. I like almost most cities, really. I like the style. To me, it's an oversized fit, which again, I like. It fits that style. And It makes me feel confident, and now I'm doing hopefully a better job with this video because of it. I'm just kidding. But this struggling avatar document goes through and you'll figure out, okay, who is the person that you're trying to solve a problem for? And the answer is, long story short, it is you. So this is document 1. Like I said, there is this struggling avatar. You will fill this out so you actually know who your audience is. If you want this, just comment the word avatar down below. I'll send you a link for it. And it will give you all 3 of them, not just this one. But the struggling avatar, the unique solution, the future pace hero. Now that's step number 1 to actually knowing what's going on. You have to understand your audience. Your actual targeting inside of Meta is simple, and we'll walk through that setup later. And honestly, this video would be very short if I went there, because the answer, the long story that you probably are wondering, it is broad, or some people call it open targeting, which basically just uses Meta's target audience to use the creative, which we'll go through here in a second, how to create good content in creative. When I say creative, I mean like images or videos. Please yell at me in the comments if I'm using jargon. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to meet everybody where they're at. Your creative is what is going to define your targeting. Meta's just so good at what they're doing. Think of it this way. It's like, if you are going after like people who love, shirts with donkeys, you could literally target a very small audience of people who love donkeys, and Meta will find it right here, and it will actually start showing the ad to people who love donkeys. It's just that powerful. It's so cool. And what's great about that, or I think more so a breath of fresh air for you, is that once you figure that out and you know what kind of creative your audience likes, because you know your target audience, then your ads will start hitting the right people and you'll actually get more sales. So that's the struggling avatar document. One little pro tip for you guys, don't forget to exclude buyers within Ads Manager. I'll show you where that's at here in a little bit, but make sure to exclude those people, because I would rather use ads as a way to go after new customers, not existing. I'm going to use email and SMS for those things, but please make sure to exclude at least the first 30 days. Most clothing brands, 30 days is fine, but I would say 180 is actually even greater. So we had this streetwear brand double the revenue by simplifying their ad accounts. As you can see here, I'll go to this ad account here. Same account, but it's the same structure we do for every single brand that we ever work with. All right, so as you can see here, we have one campaign running. Every single one of the campaigns that we run, or every single ad account we get a hold of, we move it down to one campaign. The biggest issue I see with people, and probably you on the other side of the screen, is you got 5 to 6 different ad campaigns, 2 to 3 different ad sets, maybe 2 or 3 ads inside of there, and it's causing a lot of friction. And maybe you guys aren't spending $500 a day. Maybe you're spending $30, $50, $100, and you still got 5 campaigns. Basically, you are inefficiently spending, and it causes a big problem. All right, so very simple. So one campaign, one ad set, broad, 3 ads inside of there, 3 pieces of creative, image or video. Don't use both of them, so just images or just video within those 3 ads. 2 primary text, the text that goes above the ad, and then the headline, which is like the bold headline piece of copy that goes on the actual ad. That's it. That's it. That is the simplified process. Okay, before we get into the creative side, I just wanted to say a quick hey, howdy, and hello, guys. My name is Aaron. I'm one of the co-founders here at Bit Branding, and we specialize in helping clothing brand owners like you, boutique owners like you, and we've served over 250 clothing brands in the last year alone. I need to get to see if that's actually an updated number. We're really trying to crack the 300 mark in the last 12 months. I would really appreciate it if you would give us a nice little like and subscribe. That way you do not miss out on any of the latest content. We do this every single week, at least twice a week for you guys. And if you do this in the next 3 seconds, I will share with you the best way to store all of your books and your notebooks and your drawings in the 90s. If you guys don't know about these, you are definitely not a millennial. All right, so let's get into number 2 is you got to create, and I would look at this as creatives, but honestly, let's create irresistible creatives. So number 2, irresistible creatives. So your ad creative is what makes people actually stop scrolling. Hopefully the thumbnail in this video is what made you stop here, because it's very, very important. When creating content, I would always suggest to follow the 3 I's. Now let's get into the 3 I's because they're extremely, extremely important. And the best way to use the 3 I's, I'll talk about here in a second. I'll give you a resource to help you a ton. But let's talk about the 3 I's. A lot of people don't mention them, but in the marketing world, I think it kind of gets overlooked, or people just kind of don't really jump into it. So number 1 is to imitate, then iterate, and then innovate. I'm gonna give these as percentages so you can kind of think through these, because I think numbers are helpful. So 80% of the time, we are imitating until you find proven winners. Then we got about, I would say 15% of the time, if I can do that, and then 5% of the time we are innovating. The reason why is because most of your success is going to be broken off of something that's already been successful before, it's already been proven. Then you're going to create your own iterations. You should do that and make your own versions. And then 5% should actually be innovation going into something that's never been tested before. The last thing I want you to do is to spend all of your time innovating, never finding a winner, and then saying that Facebook ads do not work. The best way to imitate right now, for us anyway, I will give this to you guys. I save ads literally every single day that catch my attention, right? That stop to scroll, and then I save them to this board. So there are hundreds. As you can see, I can continue to scroll and scroll. There are a lot. So a couple of ways that you can do this. The best way to use this is to sort by oldest or newest. I typically like to go with the newest because it's the newest ones that are trending right now versus something that are old, but up to you. So this is actually a really dope one. It is a brand. I try to reach out to them. They have not launched yet, so the only way I can pay for them or buy something, I think, is through PayPal, and they're from Kazakhstan. It cost me $30 just for shipping. Eventually I'll do it, but this is a dope brand. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, into the phone. Snoop Doggy. Cool creative. This was for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Could be for any sale. Save the date, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Check out this one. Cool way to follow. This one was actually pretty cool. I really would like for some boutique owner, if you got a retail storefront, do this. Solid. I don't care if they're in the United States or where they're at. I just care if something actually catches my attention, the hook. Obviously, if you're in the United States, a little bit different. If you're in Australia, Europe, wherever, it doesn't matter. I'll show you guys one more. If you want this board, just comment the word foreplay down below. Like I said, I'm adding new stuff to it every single day. This will likely almost always be free. Come at me if it's no longer free, but at least for this version of it, I will always give away this for free. So comment the word foreplay down below, go grab it, start using this, start implementing, start creating content. Because the number one thing that you have to do with content creation is to imitate. And then eventually you'll understand what's working and not working. I'm gonna show you guys a quick document that we have been working on. Okay, so I can't go crazy in depth with this right now, but this will be done in a later video. It's not, I promise it's not really relevant to this ads video. Just want to share with you kind of the behind the scenes for the creative process, which I will do. We're trying to make some versions of this as our own as we dive deep into it, but really you're going to go through a couple of the main phases, right? So the mass desires for the audience, which if you know who your audience is and you go through the struggling avatar, you will find that. You have the features to benefits. What are the features and benefits of the actual product that you have? Your customer avatar, and then actually going through each one of them, naming that persona. So we'll do a whole video on this. For right now, and this intents of purposes of like doing well with your ads and the process of actually building them out, I think we're good. But I just wanted to give you kind of a sneak peek for you guys of something that we are working on, and there will be a video released on that. More importantly though, for your ads, it doesn't take anything crazy. We have a carousel running for one person, good photography in the background, and you can spend $2,000 a day. It does not matter that much once you figure out exactly what your audience wants. This is a holiday graphic, okay? Look, image, Cyber Monday deal, right? Again, very simple product galleries. Let's get cozy. Again, these work because they've been tested for this audience, the copy, they've been tested. We'll build this all out here. I'll show you guys how to do it. But really, once you nail your audience from the imitation, iterations of it, like they're only doing iterations. They're not really innovating right now, and they're doing $2,000 a day. You can do this too. Probably the most important part here is to make sure to test. But let's do it the truth here, right? So is to test, optimize, and then scale. So even the best ads that we have on here need testing. Here's the winning process. So you're gonna run 3 concepts per week, 7 days of running them. So 3 concepts per week. Let it run for 7 days. You're gonna kill the underperformers, and then you're gonna increase by spend for the ones that are doing well by 5 to 20% per day. We created this document. It's called the Content Scaling Strategy Document. Very straightforward here. If you're spending $100 a day, you can do 3 concepts per week. If you are not spending $100 a day, I suggest 1 concept. So you will select the focus in which you're going after, right? So is this evergreen? If it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the answer is no. Number 2, find your offer. Extremely important to make Facebook ads work, or Instagram ads, it doesn't matter, wherever you're at, TikTok, is you've got to have a good offer. Is it buy 3, get 1 free? Is it a bundle offer? Is it a percentage? Is it free shipping? Just as a note, and if you watch the channel, you probably heard me say it, and this is just a reminder for you guys, you need to be reminded more than you need to be told, that an offer does not have to be a discount. Okay, so once you figure out your offer, you need to come up with your creative concepts. We have several examples of these. This is very much all linking to foreplay boards like I showed you guys earlier. So headlines, benefits and features, bullet points, us versus them, before and after, press release, maybe you're in Vogue, maybe you're in something local, just adding some authority. And then you're going to go through the implementation process here, right? So launching it, monitoring results, review results between days 5 and 7. I would prefer to say 7 now. Just want to launch a new creative every single Monday. That's just kind of our process. And then you just rinse, repeat, okay? Find your audience, create irresistible creatives, kill the ones that are not doing well or you thought weren't going to do well. Test, optimize, scale. I don't want to oversimplify it, but if you follow this strategy, you will find success. It's just a matter of whether it's sooner or whether it is later. Your question was probably like,
how do I know if something's a winner or not?
Okay, so I'll just walk you through this. Okay, so a couple of things. I look at first impression ratio. So think of this as a percentage. How many people are seeing this for the very first time? So in the last 30 days, a lot of people are the same customer. If I'm looking at it today, most people, 80% for this new campaign, are new, okay? And in a 30-day period, most people have seen the ad. But every single day, are we reaching new people versus existing ones? The next thing I'm looking at is, do I have a return? If I don't have a return and the purchase value isn't profitable, I'm wondering whether or not I'm gonna kill the ad or not. The other thing I'm looking at is frequency, which is kind of like first time impression. If it's getting a high frequency, then likely the impression is pretty low as well. But I want a frequency in the last 7 days below a 2, preferably a 1.5 or below. Unique link click-through rate, I want anything above a 1.5. 1% is okay, it's probably not reaching the right people yet. 2, good. 3, amazing, right? This one's got 3.9. Hitting the right people. Cost per 1,000 impressions. Depends on the time of the year, and for your brand, there really is no magic number. We have some that are $10. Shout out to a brand that's getting $10 CPMs right now. You're doing amazing. Some are at 15, some are at 20, some are at 30. We average between 18 to 25. As you can see here, we got some at 30, some at 50, some at 25. That is the busiest time of the year, and it is only in a day look right now. If we do the last 30 days, we're averaging $19, just as I mentioned. Cost per 1,000 people reached, which is different than the impression. Just go off of the CPM of the impression. Don't worry about the reach. That's just, for me, just kind of fun number to look at. That's really what I'm looking at. If it's not getting impressions, if it's not getting spend, if it doesn't have a good click-through rate, if it's not driving any type of sales, I'm killing it and then moving on to the next thing. All right, so let's build out the ads and then let's walk through this setup process. But first, hold up 1 second. I want to say that if you're a clothing brand owner and want to jump into the specifics of your brand and how to grow it profitably online, you can schedule a free 45-minute strategy session with us. There are limited spots, so go find a time in the calendar by checking out the link in the description down below. All right, so let's jump over to Ads Manager, and again, this is assuming, right, if you jump to this part of the video, that you've figured out this, right? Your audience, your irresistible creatives, your test test, optimize, and scale. Now, if you're like, hey, look, I've got to make ads because I got to make payroll this month, or I got to figure out, I got to make these ads work, or I'm not going to have a business next month. I promise you, doing these things ahead of time, going through the struggling avatar document, and then doing these things correctly will make your ads work. It does not make any sense at all to jump into Ads Manager right now and rush or make bad decisions, right? You know, if you're under pressure right now and you are forced against the wall, sometimes good things happen, but for the most part, you miss something. And so I don't want that to be you. Take a step back, right? You can, in a day, go through this stuff and be in a much better situation than what you would have done if you just like, look, I got $500, I've got to make this work. I got $1,000 or I got $10,000. I just needed to start running and get these things up. You can do it in a day, but do not rush to get into these ads. The setup is very simple. As I told you, it's 30% of this. Believe me when I say this, right? Last 30 days, this brand has made $300,000 off of $61,000 in spend. Not too bad. Most people who are showing you this stuff, by the way, they're not doing it from ads. They're doing, like, if they have crazy organic following, that's how we're making it work. This brand has 3,000 followers organically, right? This is a vast majority of the sales are coming from the actual ads. Be wary of the return on ad spend. I understand, right? That's what I'm showing you right now too. Just telling you, trust but verify. I'm just being real with you. These numbers are very accurate for this brand, ironically. But if you want more accurate numbers, you got to check out something like Triple Whale. And I always tell people, if you're spending $100 or more, check out Triple Whale. It's an attribution software that actually tell you the real numbers that you're hitting in your brand versus ones that are inflated by Meta, because we know that's not really the case. Let me do this for you really quickly so you can see this is the brand and then this is the last 30 days and what their sales are actually, because people can lie on the internet. Last 30 days, $381,000. And then Meta is saying 304. Obviously, email and SMS played a part too, but just to show you again, this is real. These are real numbers. All right, so over here to Ads Manager, we're gonna go ahead and click Create. We're gonna hit Sales. Unless you have a ton of data, and again, I would just do a manual sales campaign. We'll talk about Advantage Plus shopping at another point, but manual sales campaign. Label this however you would like. We do label these as, like, for example, the campaign could be a sales conversion campaign, and then I typically do what it is or label it however makes sense for you. This matters a little bit. The ad set level, I think, matters a lot more to make sure that you're very systematic with your messaging there, or your, I guess, nomenclature there. All right, so I'm not doing anything here. I'm not doing Advantage Plus catalog ads. I am doing Advantage Plus campaign budgets. Let's just say here, spending $100 per day. Not changing really anything else on this page. Like I said, very simple, right? The next thing is the ad set. This is where you are going to get shown website and shop. So we label these, again, come up with your own naming, and then we do like the numbers because the numbers tell us whether or not 101 was good, whether I'm on 102, which one started sooner or which one started later. Website and shop, not doing as well, again, as website. It's telling me it's going to give me 35% more purchases. I've not seen that to be the case right now. Maximum number of conversions, good. Don't really need to change necessarily a data set. Oh, actually, yes we do. This is all new. You'll see it in real time. It's called dataset now instead of pixel. I was like, where is the pixel? We got the conversion API set up, and then we are going to actually always go for purchases. Anybody who tells you otherwise, they have an alternative agenda. I don't know what it is, but like, please do not go for anything other than purchases. Dynamic creative, it's going away. I think they said it's going to go until June of 2025. We've moved to something called flexible. There's a whole video we have on flexible, but for this intents purposes, it's fine. We'll do dynamic creative. You can also read this about what the format change is going to be. Essentially, what's going to happen is it's going to be the same campaign, same ad set, and then the flexible is going to change at the ad level versus what changes now is at the ad set level. Okay, so this level changes right now with dynamic creative, and flexible, it's going to be at the ad level. All right, not going to do anything here. I'm going to switch to the original audience. Okay, age, gender, location, find the right people. This particular brand, we know they are 24 to 65 plus. They are women. Scroll on through. Okay, these are available ads. It's just giving you a suggestion. You can actually import them if you would like. I'm not going to. All right, I'm going to choose the correct Instagram account, Facebook account, and then I'm going to say new sales graphic. Okay, create an ad. Flexible is the format it's making us use now. I guess it was saying is dynamic creative. Now we're actually using flexible. Multi-advertiser ads. So your ads can appear alongside other ads in the same ad unit to help other people discover the products and services from businesses that personalize to them. So basically, you can be shown in more places. We've actually seen this do well. It's up to you. It's kind of mixed signals right now on whether or not you turn this on or off. That's up to you. I will leave it on for us. Now, ad in the media, I will do this. You make sure that you always choose the same style. So graphic, 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 that is the actual test. For this purpose, they may be different graphics, but they all are graphics, and I'm not really testing that. I'm just showing you guys how to do it. Primary text, I want one long form primary text, and then add another option. Short form primary text. So this will either be a benefit call to action or existing winner. Add another option here, and then I would say existing winner or benefit CTA. So you want one of them. If you have an existing winner, use one of them here. If you have a benefit, then use it there. So I always try to use whichever one. They could both be benefits technically if the previous one was a winner as well. I always just like to make sure to test that. The description doesn't really matter. You can't see this. All right, make sure the website URL is here. double check that works. Always send people to a collection or product page depending on what you're actually selling. Advantage plus creative optimizations. You can do this. You can see the possible optimizations and see if it makes sense. I typically turn this off. Most of the time it doesn't work that well. And it looks funky, kind of cuts your stuff off. Always do shop now. Make sure your pixel is there, that you're gonna get the green check mark. If you have an app, CommentSold users, video users, you can use that. Make sure you put your triple well parameters in and you are ready to launch. That is the actual setup. Like I said, none of that matters if you do not do this part. Please go do that. So now that you know how to run Facebook ads for clothing brands, the next thing to do is get everything else in your business set up for your clothing brand and boutique in 2025. I created a strategy document and a strategy video on exactly what you need to do to make sure that this is the best year ever for you. So go watch this video right here next. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time. And P.S., make sure you subscribe.